Hi, I'm Cara. I'm here today thinking about joy, and I was wondering, what are some of the things that steal joy? You know, I have so many things that I'm thinking about joy, and I can think of a lot of situations in my life where joy has risen up. But we want that all the time. So what is stealing joy? And for me, I think that one of the main stealers for my joy has been fear. And fear has been, it's something that it feels like it's going to overtake your life. It feels like you have no power over it. I know for me, I felt powerless against fear. It's very difficult. You try to think, okay, that's ridiculous what I'm thinking. It can't possibly be true. And yet fear has stayed in my heart. I remember one time I was afraid often whenever my husband would be late, or basically late. He didn't come home, or he didn't come to where I was supposed to meet him, that I thought that he had died, even though he's a young, strong man. We're in our 20s. But fear would just overtake me. And I remember one time we were in a campground, and Brian had gone to pick up our friends, and he was taking so long to come back that I started pacing the campground, just afraid that something had happened and he had died. And so tears were like ridiculously pouring down my face. It was like an hour, and pacing as fast as I can. So there's this tendency to cave into fear, and it's very difficult when we're in the middle of it just to grab that rope and pull ourselves out of it. So what do? I remember living like this for some years. I've got many stories that are ridiculous, and like even when he wouldn't come home for work, it'd be 20 minutes and I'd be in my room just bawling him, and my kids hopefully playing and entertaining themselves, thinking he had died. So one time I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. We have a God that's way bigger than this fear. So I remember I opened my Bible and I said, enough is enough. Show me something. And I opened it up to anything. I think anywhere where it talks about the love of God, or the hope of God, or the way his unfailing love is caring for us right now. I don't actually remember the specific verse, but what I remember is the determination in my heart of, I am done. I am so done. And I remember grabbing onto one of the verses that I opened to and just say, this is what it says right here. And I remember being angry, like, this is not the Christian life, sitting here crying and worrying because my husband's late from work. I can't live like this. And it's just that feeling of, you've got to show up right now. And I'm not going anywhere until you do. And that level of determination I've had for a few breakthrough moments in my life. But that one, oh my goodness, there was a breakthrough there where I just let go and said, this is yours. This is yours. And he came, and I felt his presence. And I'm like, wow, you are here. The tangible presence of God is here. And I felt loved, and I felt safe. And in that place, I was able just to say, you know what, I'm done with worrying about whether the people I love are going to die or live. And I can honestly say that from that moment, there was such a letting go that I didn't worry about it again. 20 years go by, maybe it was 15 from that point, but I actually got the phone call where he had died. But when I got the phone call, they were doing CPR on him and he was unconscious. And I was not afraid. I was like high alert, what I call high alert. Get in the car, drive into the hospital, it's half an hour. And I was in the presence of God in perfect peace. And I was like praying the whole way. There's a bit of a rush hour traffic. You know, our rush hour is 80 kilometers an hour, but it's half an hour. And walking in the hospital perfectly calm. And saying, I'm here to see my husband. Believing that because I had the presence of God, because it was so thick and so tangible, that he was going to be okay. I knew that he heard every prayer that I was praying because his presence was just so strong. I was sending out angels, and I was fully confident in him. So when the doctor came in and said, I'm sorry, we did everything we could. We did CPR for an hour, but he didn't make it. Then all I could say is, those are the wrong words. And you know, that was obviously terrible tragedy. But it's stunning to me, going back to joy and how fear steals our joy, how I didn't have fear even when I was in the midst of it. So this is all God. I mean, I know what I was like, a basket case. But he somehow lived in me in such a way that fear was just not, it wasn't there. So let me pray for you. Father, I pray that you would come into the middle of our fear in such a way that it does not exist. I pray that your love would be released in a heartfelt and tangible way, where your presence is stronger than our fear, where your presence permeates our thinking, and we remember, oh right, what is fear anyway? Fear is just, in reality, it's an illusion. And what's real is the love of God. The love of God is real. And fear is an illusion. Fear it has no reality except for what we give it. Even in our worst moments, like I was saying. The fear doesn't come then. Fear is nothing compared to the presence of God and the love of God and the trust that we can have in him. So I'm just releasing this over into your spirit right now. Just receive hope, receive trust, and let fear dissipate and walk through the middle of it. Walk through to the other side, even in your imagination, because fear has no hold on you. Fear has no hold on any of us. So be blessed. Receive the love of God. You are his child. He adores you and you are safe in his hands. And he carries us through everything in our life. There's nothing where he's not greater. So thank you so much for listening.